In this video, I will be discussing the Republican argument voiced by Trump, Speaker Johnson, and other like-minded Republican politicians that Biden could solve the illegal immigration issue by issuing an executive order. Basically, the argument is that congressional action is not needed since the president has the power to shut down the border. That could only mean a reference to persons showing up at the border requesting asylum rather than those who sneak across the border and evade the Border Patrol. This is a purely 2024 election tactic, an attempt to shift blame solely to Biden for this serious problem and away from the Republicans in Congress, and is in the same political vein as the ongoing effort to impeach the Homeland Security Secretary. The tactic will work on the uninformed and easily manipulated persons who actually believe what Trump, Johnson, and other Republicans are telling them. Why did Trump fail to shut down the border when he was president? Just issue an executive order, which the Republicans claim Biden can do now. Trump, Johnson, and other Republicans recognized in statements made in 2023 and earlier that denying entry for those seeking asylum was illegal under the law that existed when making those statements and the law that exists now. The details are provided in a Washington Post article titled, quote, GOP says no need for new immigration laws. That's not what it used to say. It's just hypocritical political BS. The applicable law can be found in 8 U.S.C., that stands for United States Code, section 1158, which is titled Asylum, which says that citizens of other countries can apply for asylum in the United States at the border and sets out processes for adjudicating those requests. I doubt that many Trump voters are even aware of basic immigration laws in effect now, and that allows them to be easily manipulated by politicians in that political tribe. I would agree that this law needs to be changed, but that can only occur in the normal democratic processes, which means a law change passed by Congress and signed into law by the president. Immigrants are increasingly waiting at the border for the Border Patrol to take them into custody after they request asylum. The details can be found in a New York Times article published yesterday titled, quote, one big reason migrants are coming in droves. They believe they can stay, end of quote. Most of the irregular immigration now is done in that manner. The primary problem is that there are not enough people to process the claim at the border, which currently permits only about 500 a day to be processed given the shortage of personnel. Most of those are denied entry at the border. For those who are not processed at the border, and most are not, they are given a court date where their request will be adjudicated by an immigration judge. There are not enough immigration judges to rule on the request either, which results in long delays between entry and the decision on the asylum request. The delay is currently about 2 years for new applications. Both of those problems are created by Congress's failure to provide adequate funding. An issue being addressed in the bipartisan bill that Trump has probably successfully killed deals with these issues. The only way to change the law is through new legislation passed by Congress and signed into law by the president. The two political tribes have been unable to agree on a law change for decades now, but the Republicans believe they can force a change by withholding any additional aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. It's their way or the highway. There are several ways to handle the immigration problem, which is a serious one. One would be to fund enough new Border Patrol agents to process all the people seeking asylum at the border, and to hire maybe 1,000 full or part-time immigration judges, or whatever sufficient number is needed to work through the existing 2-year backlog within 6 months or so. That is what responsible politicians are trying to do now. But they are getting in the way of Donald's reelection effort, and he needs to preserve this issue, as does Speaker Johnson, who may lose his speakership in the 2024 election. Another way that I have suggested in my blog would probably not receive a single vote in Congress, and is the least costly method for dealing with the surge based on those seeking asylum. Change the asylum law to bar any new requests made at the border or within the U.S. border in exchange for a pathway to citizenship for the DACA children, and then hire enough immigration judges to deal with the existing backlog. This common sense solution, that is also the least costly one, would be anathema to the Republicans on the issue of the DACA children and to Democrats on the issue of asylum. That is the reason it cannot become law.